After receiving the goods, first check. You will receive a piece of paper. This paper marks the serial number of each leather, which are different in shape and length. And on the back, there is a small box like this. This small box corresponds to this leather. We will use this paper during the sewing process. I'll explain it later. Then let's check the leather we received first. There is a rectangular bottom leather. Then there is this pile of thin strips. Let's sort these out. I have already divided these for you. Then, after you receive the goods, you can divide them yourself. After recording each size, take this paper and stick the number on it. We will also give you a small label with numbers. You will also receive a needle and thread kit. The sewing kit contains thread, two needles, and 2 pairs of magnetic buttons. Let me show you the magnetic buckle. A pair of magnetic buttons is composed of these 2 pieces. From the front, it is a concave one, and the other is slightly raised. And you can also see from the side. One is thick, and the other is thinner. This is a pair. Each material package will have 2 pairs of magnets. 2 pairs of magnetic buttons. When putting the magnetic buckle, avoid the small piece being attracted to the thick piece. Be sure to avoid tying these 2 together in advance, otherwise it will be difficult to break it. There are also 4 magnetic buckle spacers. This is a small, thin sheet. All the materials you receive are these. Before sewing, you need to prepare a pair of scissors and a lighter. Then use this paper to distinguish them. Not only do you need to distinguish the length, but also the direction. For example, number 2 and number 5 are the same length. Number 3 and number 4 are the same length. Number 1 and number 6 are the same length. But the small tip on it, their directions are inconsistent. Here, we must match them correctly. Here we are, based on this plane we distinguished the number on. This side and the other side is suede, or if it's genuine leather, the back is the leather fiber. The difference between the leather and the back can be seen. We distinguish the numbers according to the front side. This one is number 2. Then we find the small label of number 2 and stick it on first. Number 5. Number 6. The number below it is the number sequence. This is number 1. The remaining two are number 3 and number 4. This paper is short, but the leather is too long, so number 3 and number 4. The top one is a little shorter than the paper, and the leather will be slightly longer than the paper. Now we have sorted out all the pieces. There are 4 pieces of leather left. Among these 4 pieces of leather, the one with holes, which is the handle. This one here is the last one to be sewn. And sew it like this. And this one without holes. It needs to be folded inside to increase its thickness. This is a small piece of leather for free, so the handle will have thickness. It will be more plump after making. Each has 2 pieces. Then find this piece of leather and this piece of paper. They are in proportion. They are the same size. Then we measure the thread first. The length of the thread is 4 times the circumference. This is a circle. Then measure its 4 sides. Which is exactly 4 times. Cut it with a small scissors. Then we'll thread the needle. When threading the needle, first, thread the needle through the eye of the needle normally. Then use the tip of the needle to pierce the middle of the thread. The thread goes through the middle, like this. Then, tighten both threads. This will fix it. No need to tie another knot. The other end of the thread should also be threaded. Then let's divide the leather. Let's start from this corner. It says to start from the second hole and sew with the long strip leather. Here we sew number 1 and number 6. Take out both pieces here. Take out the pair of bottom leather. Then find the number 1 and 6 leather first. After threading the needle, the hole at this corner is the bottom leather, which is sewn separately. First, thread a needle through here. Then take the number 1 and 6 skins. Here we use the pointed one. This side is used. Not this part. Be sure not to take the wrong piece of leather. First, press the number 1 skin against the number 6 skin and overlap like this. Then put these 2 pieces here, the second hole here. Start from the second hole. To sew the number 1 and 6 skins together, here we take another needle. First, pass through the bottom leather. Be sure not to take the wrong one. First, pass through the bottom leather, then the needle in the second hole, and pass through these 2 layers of leather. The back looks like this. The leather needle pierces the bottom leather alone. The second needle goes through the second hole and the first hole of number 1 and 6. During the sewing process, be sure to avoid the thread tying the leather. If it binds the leather, it must be pulled away in time. Now the ground looks like this. Then let's look at the back. This position must not be placed wrong. Number 1 leather is on top and number 6 leather at the bottom. The number 1 leather is in the middle and the bottom leather is on top. Take the needle from the first hole and pass through the second hole. Don't change the needle here, and pass it back through the third hole. Then take the needle from the second hole and pass through the third hole. And then pass through the fourth hole. Sew in this order. Now the holes of number 1 and number 6 skins have been sealed. After sealing, follow the instructions on the paper. This is the positioning hole, this big one, and these big ones. And these are positioning holes. The previous and next holes of the positioning hole, these 3 holes are sewn by the bottom leather alone. Here is sewn, and then these 3 holes. The previous and next holes of the positioning hole. These 3 holes are sewn by the bottom leather alone. After sewing, look at this piece of paper. It says, the next 2 are number 3 and number 5. Number 5 is below, number 3 is on top. Then sew this section along the hole. After sewing, it's the same as before. The previous and next positioning holes. The bottom skin is sewn by yourself. Then for the next section, according to this picture, number 2 is on top, then sew number 4 down. After sewing this section, leave 3 holes. Sew the bottom leather separately. Then, just like in the picture, number 1 is on top, number 2 below. Sew this section. Follow the sewing sequence. Sew this section. Now this section is sewn. Then we'll sew the corner. Here at the corner is the same as the beginning of the needle. The hole at the corner is the inner leather's own hole. And the bottom leather is sewn by itself. Then turn it over. Let's divide this section. Find this paper. It says number 3 and number 5. Number 3 is on top. Find these 2. Then turn the direction. Number 3 is on top of number 5. And sew here. After sewing here, leave 3 holes here. After leaving 3 holes, then add the other 2 pieces of leather. Next are number 2 and number 4. Number 4 is below, Number 2 is on top. Then put it in this position. Sew the hole at the turning point or corner yourself. Then the bottom part should follow the paper in that order, just like before. And sew the whole circle. After sewing here, you need to sew the corner of the turn yourself. Then the back part according to this picture, just like here and there. Just turn it upside down. Here are number 3 and number 5, and number 2 and 4 here. Just sew the whole circle. Sew the bottom leather of this corner yourself. Then turn it over. Check the paper. It says number 3 and number 5 here. Number 3 is on top. Then sew these 2 pieces in this position. Sew it forward. It's all the same. After sewing this, after sewing number 3 and number 5, next sew the 3 holes. Sew the bottom skin yourself. Then finally put the number 2 and number 4, and sew the number 2 on top. Now the small section of leather for number 2 and number 4. Here we need to sew the last stitch to connect back to the hole where we started sewing. Connect all the thread ends. The back side too. After sewing all the holes on both sides, backstitch twice. Then pass the excess thread to the back of the leather. Cut it here. Don't cut it too short. Leave 2 or 3 millimeters. Then for this small thread, burn it gently with a lighter. That's it. This is the back. Here we comb it all. First, comb it like this. And organize them all first. Then we don't need to pay attention to the color number. Here we pick and press it like this. Cross each piece of leather like this. Finish the top part. Then do the bottom part. Hold it, fix both sides, Make sure the braided part doesn't fall apart. Now the bottom is facing up. Turn the whole bottom part up. After turning it over, it looks like this. When you reverse it, be careful not to let the leather fall apart. Then we start braiding the side. First, take the one in the lower right corner, which is the bottom right one on the side. We weave it upwards. When weaving here, be sure to note, pay attention to see how the one connected to it is. Each piece of leather is pressed by one, and then press down the other one. Now this one is on top, so we need to press it down. Like this. After weaving here, take the one in the lower left corner. Take the long one. To weave. Then take the one in the lower right corner now. At this step, you must check. After braiding here, you must check to see if each piece of leather is pressed once, and then be pressed by others. Next, take this one. The one in the lower right corner. Here. Because the front is already pressed like this, so it needs to be pressed by this one. Take a length of over 30 centimeters, or 40 centimeters is enough. Pull the seam for a short section. When sewing here, pay attention. Be sure to check again before sewing to see if the leather is pressed correctly. When sewing here, the first stitch is to cross these two long pieces of leather and cross them like this. One goes through the bottom hole of both pieces. Both pieces of leather are the first hole at the bottom. The first hole at the bottom of this section. The second stitch is done separately. The side looks like this. Then pass through. The third stitch is the small piece on the face. Try to keep your movements small when donating. Don't destroy the front part. Then use this long leather to sew the last needle hole. Use this long leather to sew it by itself. Then sew both sides to finish. After sewing here, let's take the one in the lower left corner now. When you take this one, pay attention to underneath it if the weaving of this leather is correct. Now this looks fine. Then braid it up. Then sew the length of this section of thread, still 30 or 40 centimeters. Before sewing, be sure to check the edges repeatedly. When sewing, take the first stitch of the first stitch. Still use these two pieces of leather. Sew these two long leather pieces. Then sew the second stitch of this leather separately. The third stitch is to add the small leather. The third stitch is to add the small leather. This is the third hole. Add the small leather to the third hole. After sewing one more hole, sew backwards to finish. After sewing, we turn it around. After turning it over, it looks like this. Here, we take the right side. The long one. and it must be taken out from the side. Then braid it up. Then take the long one from the left side. And weave it up. Take the short one from the right side and push it up. Then sew this section. This small leather starts sewing from the third hole, the first hole, and sew the 2 long strips. Be sure to check repeatedly before sewing. Now this small one is just pinched. It's not sewn on. Then the second hole. Sew this leather material separately. Add the small leather to the third hole. After sewing here, let's look at this side on the left. Turn it like this. And sew this section. It's the same as sewing the lid. After sewing this part, let's take a look at the side. We braid the side. Stand it up. Take this. Take this long leather. This one that extends to the upper left. This position is on the first piece, the left of the first piece of leather. Let it braid. and sew it. Well, then take another short one and braid it up. When sewing, remember to connect this long one. And put it here. We find the inner piece of leather. There are 2 small holes. Vertical small holes. At this time, take the magnetic buckle we started with. You can use the flat or concave one. When sewing the other side later, you need to change to the other one. It's like this. It goes through from the back of the leather. Then, find the gasket and put this thin gasket here. Press it flat with your fingers. Find this piece of leather and sew this section. Take 4 times thread. and keep sewing until here. Sew the other one in the same way. Sew both sides. Then find the small corner we just sewed. This small corner. We need to sew this part. Start from this corner. Then sew this section on and connect the previous holes. Connect this empty part. Then sew the end of the seam. The handle is sewn. Then find the side opposite the handle. This is the opposite side. We just used this thin magnetic buckle. Here we need to use this thick magnetic buckle so that they can be fastened together. Once you have checked and confirmed there are no issues, begin stitching this section. This section of stitching requires approximately 1 meter of thread. Then connect this corner to this piece. After braiding all the edges, let's sew this part of the corner. Check before sewing. This side uses the magnetic buckle, which is thick. Then use the same one here. Start stitching from here. Add this hand strap when sewing the cover. The length of this thread is 1 meter. Put the magnet buckle on this piece. After braiding, start sewing it. The hole at the corner is for stitching the handle. Put this part of the handle here. Then follow this sequence to stitch the entire section. After stitching this part, the last stitch should connect to the previous thread. After finishing the stitching, reverse and sew 2 stitches to secure the end. The bag is end.